$100,000 enemy drone just took down $1 million US defense asset. That is not a theory. That is what is happening right now on active battlefields. Cheap, small, and fast, enemy drones are changing the rules of war faster than most people realize. And the US military is not sitting still. They built weapons that fight back. Not missiles, not conventional guns. We are talking about microwave beams that fry entire drone swarms in seconds, laser systems that burn targets out of the sky for just over $1 a shot, a single piece of software that lets one soldier track and destroy dozens of drones at once, all without pulling a trigger. These are not lab experiments. These systems are funded, tested, and being deployed right now in 2026. 7 weapons, all real, all working. And by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly why America's military men and women have the most advanced drone defense network on the planet. If you are proud of what America's armed forces are doing to stay ahead of this threat, type proud in the comments below. Now here is the part most people miss. This arms race did not start last year. It has been building for over a decade, and by the time you finish watching, you will understand why the decisions being made right now in 2026 will shape the future of warfare for the next 50 years. Let's get into it. Weapon number 1, the Leonidas, the microwave weapon that drops entire swarms. Let's start with the one that has the entire defense world talking. Epirus, a California-based defense company, built a system called Leonidas. What it does is extraordinary. It fires a burst of high-power microwave energy in a roughly 60-degree arc, and anything inside that arc with electronics gets fried. No radio signal needed, no targeting lock required. Every drone caught inside that pulse just falls straight down. During a live fire test, Leonidas dropped 49 quadcopters simultaneously. That was the largest swarm the system had ever faced. Every single one went down almost instantly. At a more recent demonstration for the Department of Defense, the system achieved a 100% success rate, dropping 61 out of 61 drones in a single test. But here is what makes this even more impressive. Enemy forces in places like Ukraine have started using fiber-optic controlled drones. These drones trail a physical cable behind them, which means they have no radio signal to jam. Traditional jamming systems become completely useless against them. Leonidas does not care. It does not need a radio signal. It just overloads the drone's electronics with raw electromagnetic energy. The drone crashes every time. In January 2026, Epirus released footage showing Leonidas disabling a fiber-optic guided drone during a live test. It was a first, and it sent a clear message to anyone trying to sneak past U.S. air defenses. The U.S. Army signed a $43.5 million contract for the next generation version of this system in July 2025. The Generation 2 model has more than double the range of the original, reaching out to 2 kilometers. It also has a 30% increase in power output and can run on its own built-in batteries for up to 30 minutes without any external power source. Now, 4 of the first generation systems were already delivered to the Army in May 2024. Those went straight to the first multi-domain task force. By 2026, the Air Force is in the process of leasing multiple trailer-mounted Leonidas systems, units that can be towed behind any standard pickup truck and deployed wherever they are needed most. This is not the future. This is right now. Weapon number 2, Lattice, the brain that runs it all. Here is something that often gets overlooked when people talk about anti-drone weapons. A weapon is only as good as the system telling it where to shoot. That is where Endural's Lattice platform comes in. Lattice is not a gun. It is not a laser. It is the command and control backbone that ties every sensor, every radar, and every effector into a single unified picture. One operator using Lattice can monitor, track, classify, and engage dozens of drone threats simultaneously. The system uses machine learning to process data streams continuously. It optimizes what the military calls kill chains, meaning the sequence from detection to destruction. and compresses that time down to seconds. When drones are flying low, fast, and in large numbers, speed is everything. Lattice provides that speed. In November 2025, the U.S. Army selected Anduril to lead the Integrated Battle Command System Maneuver Program, putting Lattice at the core of mobile air and missile defense. Then, in March 2026, the Army awarded Anduril a contract worth up to $20 billion over 10 years. That is the largest single contract in Anduril's history. It consolidated over 120 separate procurement actions into one unified framework. The first task order under that contract, $87 million, going directly to counter drone operations under Joint Interagency Task Force 401, the Pentagon's dedicated drone fighting task force created in August 2025. Lattice is already operational. U.S. Army soldiers were flying Ghost X reconnaissance drones guided by Lattice during training exercises at the National Training Center in November 2025. It has also been used at Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota as the command backbone for Northern Command's counter-drone flyaway kit. Think of Lattice as the central nervous system. Every weapon on this list works better because of it. Weapon number 3, THOR and Mjolnir, 2 generations of microwave dominance. The Air Force did not wait for other services to figure out microwave weapons. They built their own. THOR, which stands for Tactical High Power Operational Responder, was developed by the Air Force Research Laboratory. Like Leonidas, it uses powerful bursts of microwave energy. But THOR was specifically designed to handle swarm attacks against air bases and critical infrastructure. It can sweep across a wide area and disable multiple small drones in a single shot. But the Air Force did not stop at THOR. In 2021, the Air Force Research Laboratory announced they were building THOR's successor, a system named Mjolnir, after the legendary hammer of Norse mythology. That name was chosen deliberately, and the capabilities match the name. Mjolnir uses the same core microwave technology as THOR, but with improved targeting, greater reliability, and faster production. During testing, Mjolnir demonstrated 90% efficiency, and developers expect that number to hit 100% as the system continues to be refined. Here is something that makes Mjolnir particularly valuable for real-world deployment. The entire system fits inside a single standard cargo container. It can be airlifted anywhere in the world on a cargo plane. Once it arrives, 2 personnel can have it fully operational in 3 hours, from container to combat ready. On a busy, contested battlefield, that kind of rapid deployment capability changes the game. Lattice was selected in 2022 to begin full development of Mjolnir, building on the Air Force's earlier THOR work. Both systems represent America's commitment to giving its air bases a reliable, cost-effective defense against the growing drone threat. Here is a fact that should make every American proud of their military. Enemy forces are spending $20,000 per drone. The U.S. military has now developed energy weapons where each engagement costs less than $2. That is not an exaggeration. Directed energy systems, lasers and microwaves never run out of ammunition as long as they have power. America's engineers have found a way to flip the economics of warfare in America's favor. Weapon number 4, U.S. Army High Energy Laser Systems, the dollar per shot defense. Laser weapons have been promised for decades. In 2026, they are no longer a promise, they are deployed. On May 6, 2026, the Pentagon announced the launch of a counter-drone pilot program, placing directed energy weapons at 5 U.S. military bases. The bases selected are Naval Base Kitsap in Washington, Fort Bliss and Fort Huachuca in Texas and Arizona, and Grand Forks Air Force Base and Whiteman Air Force Base in North Dakota and Missouri. The capabilities being deployed include high-energy lasers and high-power microwave systems. These are not prototypes being tested in a laboratory. They are going into active base defense. Earlier in 2026, the Army fired a laser system near El Paso twice, and those tests were serious enough that the Federal Aviation Administration temporarily closed the airspace around the city both times. The Army and the FAA reached a formal coordination agreement in March 2026 to allow continued testing while keeping civilian air traffic safe. Whiteman Air Force Base, one of the 5 sites selected, is home to every single one of the U.S. Air Force's B-2 stealth bombers. Protecting that base from drone threats is not just important, it is essential to national security. The task force behind this program, Joint Interagency Task Force 401, was created with one directive from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth in August 2025, speed over process. Get these weapons deployed, get them working, protect American forces and American infrastructure. They are doing exactly that. Weapon number 5, the Phalanx CIWS, the proven last line at sea. While newer technologies grab headlines, the U.S. Navy has relied on one of the most battle-tested anti-drone systems in the world for decades. The Phalanx Close-In Weapon System, known as CIWS, is an automated, radar-guided machine gun mounted on U.S. Navy warships. It fires up to 4,500 rounds per minute. It targets incoming threats automatically, without waiting for a human operator to pull a trigger. Missiles, enemy aircraft, and drones, the Phalanx engages them all. In the current threat environment, where Iran and its proxy forces have been launching drones at U.S. and allied ships in the Gulf region, the Phalanx CIWS has become more relevant than ever. It is the last barrier between a hostile drone and a U.S. warship and the sailors on it. In early September 2025, the U.S. Navy announced a new multi-year sustainment and upgrade plan for the Mk-15 Phalanx across the entire surface fleet. Bring this system. They are investing in it because in a world of cheap drone attacks, a fast, automatic, always ready gun system is exactly what you need. The Phalanx is reliable, it is proven, and it is protecting American sailors right now. Weapon number 6, Drone Shield DroneGun Tactical, the rifle that grounds drones without destroying them. Not every drone threat ends with an explosion. Sometimes, the smarter move is to bring the drone down safely, to capture its technology, its data, or its payload for intelligence purposes. That is what the DroneGun Tactical does. Developed by Drone Shield, a company with offices in both Australia and the United States, the DroneGun Tactical is a handheld, rifle-style, electronic disruption system. It weighs 16 pounds, it can be carried and operated by a single soldier, and it works by blasting radio frequency disruption signals at a drone's control link and GPS system simultaneously. When those signals hit the drone, one of two things happens. The drone either lands immediately right where it is, or it returns automatically to wherever it launched from. If it returns to its launch point, that tells military intelligence exactly where the enemy operator was standing. The DroneGun Tactical offers more than 2 hours of continuous operating time. It works against a wide range of commercial and military modified drone models, and it does not destroy the surrounding environment or endanger nearby people. In September 2025, Drone Shield was awarded contracts totaling $8 million from the Pentagon for its counter-drone technologies. Earlier in 2026, the company received a package of 6 separate contracts totaling $22 million from a Western military customer, covering an entire supply of dismounted counter-drone systems, spare kits, and software subscriptions. The Five Eyes intelligence community, the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, has also placed orders for Drone Shield's counter-drone guns. That is the highest level of allied trust. When subtlety matters more than firepower, the DroneGun Tactical is the answer. Weapon number 7, the Leonidas Autonomous Ground Vehicle, the unmanned drone killer. We have saved one of the most forward-looking systems for last. On March 24th, 2026, Epirus, General Dynamics Land Systems, and Kodiak AI jointly unveiled the Leonidas Autonomous Ground Vehicle. This system takes everything that makes Leonidas powerful and puts it on a self-driving truck. The vehicle carries the full Leonidas high-power microwave platform. It uses Kodiak's AI-powered autonomous driving system, the same technology developed for commercial trucking, to navigate independently. General Dynamics Land Systems served as the lead system integrator. What this means in practice is extraordinary. This vehicle can be deployed to a base perimeter, a port, an airfield, or a forward operating position, and it will patrol, detect, and engage drone threats without a human operator physically present. It can be fully autonomous, or it can be remotely operated by a soldier at a safe distance. This is not decades away. It was unveiled and demonstrated in March 2026. It extends the counter-drone line of defense beyond fixed positions and into mobile expeditionary missions. Wherever U.S. forces go, this system can follow. The U.S. military has always had the best equipment in the world. This system represents the next chapter of that tradition. Here is the bigger picture behind all 7 of these weapons. In fiscal year 2026, the Pentagon requested $3.1 billion specifically for counter-drone capabilities. That number represents a massive increase from just a few years earlier. The Department of Defense is not treating drone threats as a future problem. They are treating it as today's problem, and they are funding the solution at a scale that matches the seriousness of the threat. From the soldier carrying a 16-pound drone gun on a patrol, to the Navy sailor protected by a Phalanx gun on a destroyer, to the Air Force base defended by a microwave system that can be set up in 3 hours, America's military has built a layered, multi-level system of drone defense that nothing else in the world comes close to matching. And the men and women operating these systems are what make them truly effective. The technology is remarkable, but the commitment, the training, and the professionalism of America's armed forces is what makes it work. 7 weapons, billions of dollars in investment. One clear message to anyone who thinks cheap drones can threaten America's military: they have an answer for that. Multiple answers, and those answers are getting better every single year. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button right now and subscribe so you never miss what we cover next. The next video is one you will not want to skip.